What's up, VC? This is Drew. Thought I'd participate in the Vinyl Tag 2022 started by Chris, Tunes to the Man Cave. Thank you, Chris, for inspiring me to spend too much money on original Blue Notes. Shout out to my buddy Paul, who just started a YouTube video channel as well. He's going to show off some of his jazz stuff. He's got a great audiophile collection. Really goes after that stuff hard. He's getting into originals too quite a bit. He's finding some cool stuff. Check him out. I have been just amassing records over the last few years and haven't done many videos. I thought I'd jump in on this. Been really trying to pare down the collection a little bit, more quality, less quantity. I think we all get to that point eventually. So I'll start it out. Favorite jazz band of 2021? This is gonna be it. Blue and Sentimental, Quebec, original. Maybe this is like a second press. Van Gelder. Yeah. Oh, there's an ear, so it's a first press. Van Gelder ear. All the cool stuff. What a beautiful record. Greg Green's on this. Billy Joe Jones, Paul Chambers. So just an incredible lineup, of course. Blue Note. It's an original. Found it locally, which you never see in Middle Tennessee. Had to buy it. When you see an original Blue Note that's in good shape, you gotta buy it, right? I've been to record stores all throughout the country, and these things just don't exist anywhere. So if you see them, that's the time to buy them. Your favorite reissue released in 2021. This is technically a reissue. It's Robo Hands with Green. Another really cool, just jazz guitar, kind of some electronic elements, great drums, gets funky at times. Really cool color on that one too. I love this record. One of my favorite like modern-ish jazz records, but a lot of people wouldn't say this is jazz, but I really love this. If you see this out there, it's getting kind of hard to find. He's reissued it just this once. I think it came out 2 or 3 years ago. Great record. Can't recommend it enough. He's a British-based guy. Funky jazz guitar. Robo Hands with Green. Your favorite new jazz release 2021? I got a twofer. Just a couple things. I can't recommend enough just going on Bandcamp and just discovering stuff. Click on the Vinyl Jazz. That's how I found both of these. I would say that in a very similar vein. This one is Oxfo with Kamala's Dance. I think this is Swiss or Swedish, and it's on this this green vinyl I'm listening to right now. It's really pretty. Tinges of ambient electronic stuff in here. Really cool little sax trumpet lines. Just a really cool, beautiful release. This is in a similar vein, but I would say it's more ambient and more electronic. This is Natten by Bremer McCoy on this blue vinyl. Just incredibly relaxing, cool music. I would recommend highly both of these. Found both late last year or early this year. Sax Lead Session. Everybody goes, sax, Coltrane, sure. I mean, I really have been looking a little further lately. How about this Pepper Adams release on Mode? Kind of a tough one to find. Mode did this series of these kind of painted covers, and this is really good. I found this for pretty cheap up in Michigan, and he's a Detroiter. I kind of collect anything Detroit, Michigan related, especially jazz. And this is just a really cool record. It was super clean. Figured I'd get it. Can't recommend Pepper Adams enough. He's kind of probably the lesser known of the Pepper guys, the Art Pepper. But don't sleep on Pepper Adams. Trumpet Lead Session. I found this recently. A collection walked into my local shop, and there were a bunch of Blue Notes, and this was by far my favorite one that I picked up. It is an original copy of Freeform by Del Bird. This might not be a true original because there's no ear, but it's got the Van Gelder stamp. It's an early press. I'm fine with that. I'm not super snobby if it's the absolute first or not. But this is maybe my favorite Donald Byrd record and maybe one of my favorite Blue Note records. I bought a batch of really awesome stuff, and this is my favorite by far, so I would highly recommend Freeform. Let's play some of this. Herbie Hancock, Wayne Shorter, so I mean, of course, it's going to be great. And it is. Guitar lead session. You know, could have shown some Kenny Burrell, Grant Green, but this gentleman who passed away, unfortunately, I think last year, Pat Martino with El Hombre. Really cool, kind of a bit of an anomaly in the Prestige catalog. It's a kind of Latin tinged guitar session, and it's really good. It gets funky at times. Yeah, there's congos on here, bongos. But someone dropped off a bunch of his stuff to a local Goodwill, and that never happens here. And this is my favorite of the bunch by far, El Hombre. If you ever see this, this is a stereo. I'm not sure if this was released in model. I think it came out like 1967. Very, very good. Piano lead session. I found this. I mean, just wanted to go with something a little less obvious. It's McCoy Tyner doing Duke Ellington on Impulse. I think this is the second press. 1972. I was super surprised at this. It's not expensive. I found it for very cheap. If you see this, pick it up. Just real tasteful renditions of Ellington tunes. Great dinner music. Can't go wrong here. Organ led session. I found this early last year for super cheap, and I know Chris talks about her quite a bit. She still, I don't think, gets the love. This is Shirley Scott. This is Scotty. This is an original black Prestige label. And all of her stuff is pretty great. Some people might call it sleepy. But it's all good. It doesn't really wow you that much, but I really enjoy this. Who's got it? Scotty. Trombone or tuba lead session. I found this last year. This is my favorite find of the last 5 years at a local shop. I walked in, saw this on the wall, and I was like, I probably need to have that. And this is Curtis Fuller, new trombone. This is an original Fireworks Prestige. And wow, what a record. It is gorgeous. We got an all Detroit lineup except for Hank Jones, I think, on this. Yeah, Doug Watkins, Louis Haynes, Rick Kiner. It really makes you rethink what the trombone can sound like on a jazz record. It's not goofy or cheesy. It's just a gorgeous record. Beautiful artwork. You can't really go wrong here with Curtis Fuller either. After I found this, he just passed away right after I bought this, I think. And the value on this went crazy. Original Prestige stuff, just I never see it. It might be harder to find than Blue Note, but can't recommend this one enough. So happy that I found it. Jazz funk record. Oh, I mean, this was the artist I thought of immediately. It was Dorothy Ashby. Would you call it jazz funk? I guess. This is an original on Cadet, Afro harping. This might be the answer to my last question also, which is the house is on fire. Which one do you grab? This is just a mint copy of Afro harping that I found in a large lot of records, so it ended up being less than $1 a record for an original Afro harping in the Shrink. I love this record so much. The drums, the harp, there's little strings on here. It works. You would never even, when I tried to explain to people, it's harp and it's jazz kind of, they're like, how does that work? But then you put it on and it's so cool and funky, and it's just gorgeous music. And I just love everything she ever touched. I'm just so happy that I get to own this. Jazz fusion record. This record, I believe, is called Jazz Rock, and it is a Japanese artist that I cannot pronounce because it's a symbol. But HHV did these reissues, I think last summer or the summer before. I think it was last summer, and these in colored vinyl. And they released some super obscure Japanese jazz, and this was one of them. And this is my favorite of the bunch, maybe. I think there's some covers of some like fairly well-known tunes out here. It's just like super cool, like flute. It's just what you'd think. Precise, clean Japanese jazz. And it's just great. And the packaging on these are really great. Some of these are still on their website. Look up HHV Summer of Jazz. There's still some color reissues of these records that are super expensive. The originals are $1,000, so you can get them for $30. Go for it. Underappreciated album by artists you love. I have two here that I feel like this guy. Not many people talk about him. Not many people know anything about him, and it's Evans Bradshaw. And he released 2 records on Riverside. This one, Look Out, and then this one, Pieces of 88. I prefer this one, Look Out. They're both very good. He's very much. It's not Bill Evansy where it's quiet and delicate. But yeah, it's more Bill Evansy than Monk, I would say, but kind of in between. It's kind of like mid-tempo. There's a few ballads, but there's not a ton of original tunes on these, I don't think. But yeah, some Detroit players on here. And he was from Flint, Michigan, and that's how I kind of went down the rabbit hole with him. And these are both on Riverside. This is a blue stereo label. This is a black stereo label. Actually, this is mono. So if you ever see these records, they're really great. They don't go for a ton of money. Look Out goes for a little more, but I feel like he's a guy that he put 2 records out and no one knows what happened to him. And I'd really like to know because I love them. A live jazz album. I pulled this one out. Another Michigan connection. Lateef at Cranbrook. This is kind of a holy. This is not a first pressing, but I have one upstairs. This is like a late 60s cadet pressing. I have a big time emotional attachment to this record and this place because growing up I used to run around on these statues at Cranbrook in Bloomfield Hills, Michigan. And Lateef is a Detroit guy, and he went to Cranbrook, recorded this live record. And the original sounds pretty good. This one does not sound great. These later cadet kind of reprocessed things are not great. But it's a cool record. It sounds really good. You can kind of hear the crowd. And it's got Cranbrook on the cover, so it was all these things I just love about it. And yeah, it's a live record. It's Lateef. What else? Supergroup. I found this one sitting in the shelf. I was like, I guess this is a supergroup. This is 2 trumpets. So Art Farmer, Donald Byrd. I guess you could call that a supergroup. And I wish I had an original in this. This is like a mid-70s Japanese press. Who else is on this? Doug Watkins, Jack McLean's on this. Barry Harris, Detroiter as well. Really cool, unobtainium for me, original. I've been looking for original for a while. I'm hoping to get it someday. But really cool record. Record by your favorite artist is a sideman. So I picked Detroit, New York Junction, Thad Jones. Kenny Burrell's on this, and I would say he's probably, Grant Green are probably my 2 favorite artists I would think overall, just because I'm attracted to the jazz guitar. So Kenny's on this. This is a late 70s Japanese press. I love these personally. Some people think they're too clean, too bright, too perfect. Yeah, I mean, they're affordable though. An original, this is $1,000, so you can find this for $50 to $75. It made sense to me, and I started collecting these when they were cheaper, about 10 years ago. So I really love these. I love the thick blue OB. I just have a thing for collecting these. So if you like super clean, quiet copies of this stuff, this is a great series to go for. Album by an artist that more people should know about. I mean, people know this guy. I think all of his albums still aren't talked about enough. This is Boogaloo Joe Jones. VMP just released Right On, I think. Yeah, which I didn't have, so it was good to have. This one I like even more, Right On Brother. Man, this stuff is funky. And the tunes are really cool. And it's just like super unique for Prestige at the time. So it's got a few scuffs on it, but it is in the shrink. Any of this guy's stuff, it's so hard to find the originals. If you see it, buy it. Definitely one of my favorite guitarists of the era. An album by an artist that should have been bigger. So this guy, he's obviously a big name. I feel like these records, this series doesn't get enough love. This is Chet Baker's Smokin'. This is an original stereo, blue label. I think he did 2 or 3 records on Prestige during this period. And these are the ones that don't get talked about as much, and they're all fantastic. Chet Baker sings. It know, that record gets a lot of love in some of his other trumpet-led sessions. But these are all great, and they're not super expensive. They're kind of tough to find nowadays. But any of these prestige Chet Bakers, can't go wrong. 8 vocal jazz album. I think I'm gonna cheat on this and show 2 because I just had them sitting out. I thought they were cool. This is Joyce Carr Sings. This is a very rare private press vocal jazz record. I think it was recorded here in Nashville. I don't recall. Oh, DC. This is a Washington, D.C. recording. And there's a trio backing her on this. And it is so beautiful. The vocals are great. The songs are amazing. I want to say she does a couple covers that are well known. Yeah, she does a cover yesterday. But man, this is so good. And there's a reason why it's worth a bit of money. I dug this out of someone's house for 99 cents, I think late 2021. It just thought it looked interesting. I didn't even look it up. I got home and I got lucky. If you ever see this or any, I think she did a couple records, but this is the one to get, Joyce Carr. And also another vocal jazz that I found in Baltimore, Maryland, I think last summer. This is Paula Lane, and she was a Marilyn Monroe impersonator. This is also a private press on Wayne Records out of California, and the resemblance is kind of uncanny, and the record's also very good. It's kind of like sultry, it's sort of singing. It's more like she's trying to talk sexy over a jazz quartet or trio, and it's quite good, actually. I like it, and I did not pay much for this, and it also goes for quite a bit of money. I picked this out of the bargain bin in Baltimore somewhere. I don't remember where. If you ever see it, it's super cool. An album not many talk about, but I love. Okay, I found this last year. This is Bobby Timmons with Working Out on Prestige. This is a stereo copy, a blue label. Bobby Timmons, all this stuff is not super cheap, and this is kind of accessible price-wise, but it's hard to find in good condition. This one's in really good condition. Just a great jazz pianist that really did nothing wrong during this era. I think this came out in like the mid-60s. So I don't think I've seen anyone post this, so I just thought I'd show it if anyone sees this. It's a good one. The record you hope to find in 2022. I suppose the One Step Something Else and the One Step Bitches Brew are going to be really cool and interesting. I'm always looking for reissues of stuff where the originals are so expensive that it would be silly to go for $1,000 record when something has been reissued and sounds just as good for $40. I'm always looking for stuff like that, especially seeing Blue Note do some. It would be cool to have Blue Note do more higher end reissues like One Steps and things like that. I love the Craft series. It's gonna be cool. The One Step series would be cool to see what they do in the next year. Maybe some more jazz titles. How about we do like some 90s reissues? That was the era that I grew up, like early 90s stuff that the originals are very expensive. It'd be so cool to see a one step of like Nevermind, Pearl Jam's 10 or something like that. Come on, Mobile Fidelity, give it to us. We know they had the rights to Nevermind at some point, so it'd be cool if they did that again. Okay, a new release or reissue you're looking forward to. Okay. Oh, I forgot, a record you hope to find in 2022. I'm always looking for First Couple Meters records, just any original Blue Notes, Impulses, or Prestige titles. I would like to find an original of Chet Baker Sings. I would like to find an original red vinyl of Chet Baker live in Ann Arbor. That would be nice. More of the early Miles Davis stuff on Prestige. I've got a few, but I'd like to complete my Miles Davis run. What else? Always looking for private press, Michigan, Detroit stuff. And it's interesting to come across some of that. The big one for me is a band Gosh, it's a record called Nashville Ain't All Country. It's like the local Grail here. I forget the name of the band is. See if I can find out. It's a funk record. It's by a band called The Syndicate on a label called Piedmont, and it's called Nashville Ain't All Country. And I think one has sold in the last 2 years in Discogs for like $1,400. And it's like a Grail Nashville funk soul record. And I'm hoping I'll run across it someday in somebody's garage or in an antique store. I probably won't, but that's probably the number one that I'm looking to find. And then the last question, try to be as quick as possible. If you're running out in your house is on fire, what would you grab? Of course, my wife and my son first. But then, if you can just like grab one record or a couple, it might be that Dorothy Ashby original Afro Harpin, because I love that record. But it might be this one just because of the story behind it and how rare it is. This is Manu Dibango with Countdown to Cassini. It was a soundtrack to like some sort of African movie that I've never seen, starring Rudy D, Greg Morris, Ozzie Davis. It's all sorts of like weird connections with this one. It's numbered 589 on this. It's a very rare record. How many people have this on Discogs? This one my friend dug out of a basement for me outside of Detroit in some rural area. The collection was moldy, dusty. I threw away probably a third of it. It was like 2,000 records. And this I fished out of there. It's like VG-ish. Plays amazing. This is so funky and cool. Like African chanting, kind of in the realm of like, I don't even know. I mean, his most famous record, Soul Makasa, yeah. It's kind of like that, but it's even more funky and African, and just the rhythms and the trumpet, the sax on this. And it kind of mixes like the blaxploitation kind of soundtrack sound as well. It's just really cool and super rare, and I can't recommend this enough if you ever see it. They don't come up for sale super often, but this is Cassini by Manu Dibango, 1975. I'd grab this one, or I might grab all the Dorothy Ashby. So that's it. I want to be as quick as possible. Thanks, Chris. And we'll see y'all later. Cheers.